I have two questions. The first question is, this I'm aware, I am. What if this would be also an illusion?
Okay.
And
let's start with that question. What if the experience I am aware were also an illusion? Or could awareness be an illusion? It's the same question. So let's consider, first of all, what an illusion is. Because this is very important. An illusion is something that exists, but is not what it appears to be. So, for instance, a square circle is not an illusion. Has anybody here ever experienced a square circle? Has anybody ever, anywhere ever, or could anyone ever experience a square circle? No. So a square circle is not an illusion. It is not something that exists, that appears to be one thing, but is in fact another thing. It is non-existent. It's not an illusion. It's simply non-existent. Now, when you watch television, you watch a movie on television, you see a landscape. You see what appears to be a landscape, a three-dimensional landscape. But when you go up to touch the landscape, you find a two-dimensional screen. The landscape is an illusion. It's there. I'm speaking relatively now. There's something there. It looks like a landscape, but when we investigate it, it's a screen. The landscape is the illusion. The screen is its reality, relatively speaking. So this is the first characteristic of an illusion. It is not what it appears to be, but it has a reality. You cannot have an image in a movie without a screen. You cannot have a mirage in a desert without a play of light. The pool of water in the desert is an illusion, but it is not nothing. It is not non-existent. Something is there. When you go up to the pool of water, you don't find a pool of water, but you do find a play of light. The pool of water is the illusion. The play of light is its reality, relatively speaking. Moreover, if we are experiencing the illusion, we are by definition experiencing its reality. You cannot see a landscape in a movie without seeing the screen. You cannot see a mirage in a desert without seeing a play of light. You may not realize you're seeing a screen while you're watching the movie. You may not realize that you're seeing a play of light in the desert. But whether you realize it or not, if you're seeing the landscape, you are seeing the screen. If you're seeing the pool in the desert, you are seeing a play of light. Yes? Because the illusion is not separate from its reality. In fact, there is only its reality. The screen in the case, let's stick to the screen. All there is to the landscape is the screen. It's not that the landscape is one thing and its reality, the screen, is another. They are two names for the same thing. And you cannot experience the landscape without experiencing the screen, although you can experience the screen without experiencing the landscape. In other words, the illusion cannot exist without its reality, but its reality can exist without its superimposed illusion. Are you with me so far? Yeah. So the third quality of an illusion is that it is, by definition, temporary. It is a temporary form of the permanent reality behind it. Let's say behind it. It's not really behind it, but let's... So the image of the landscape comes and goes, but the reality survives the coming and going of the illusion. So relatively speaking, the reality is permanent, the illusion is ever present. It comes and goes. And therefore the reality is not limited by the qualities of the illusion. So, let's take one of the exercises we did this morning in the meditation on sound. You remember there was a sound, and we did we asked ourselves a series of questions. The sound appears to be something that was taking place at a distance of 500 meters from ourselves. We can't be sure that that sound is not an illusion. It might not be what it appears to be. How are we going to find out? We explore it, because if we are experiencing the sound, we are by definition experiencing its reality. So we have all the information we need about the sound, about the reality of the sound in the experience itself. So we, as it were, we go up to the sound. What is really there? Is it something that is appearing 500 meters away, or is it simply made of the experience of hearing? Is there anything to the sound other than hearing? The answer is obviously no. And then we come a bit closer. Is there anything to hearing other than knowing or consciousness? In other words, if we were to touch the stuff the sound was made of, because a sound is not nothing, it's not non-existent, something is there. And whatever is really there is what we call its reality, that which is real in the experience. And that which is real in the experience is the stuff it is made of. The stuff, if we were to touch the experience of hearing, what is the stuff that is there? And all we find is knowing, consciousness. Are you with me? And then we did the same experiment with the world, the sight of the world, the experience of seeing. We kept on going more deeply into the actual experience, and we arrived at simply knowing. We then did the same experience with the body, and we arrived again at knowing, consciousness. So it is from this, again, this was 3 experiential pathways that we took, merging experience into consciousness, to show that whilst everything we experience might be an illusion, that is, it may not be what it appears to be. Nevertheless, it has a reality to it. And if we explore that reality, we arrive at consciousness. Now, your question, could consciousness be an illusion? So we apply our criteria of what an illusion is. If consciousness is an illusion, it must have a reality to it. There is no such thing as an illusion without a reality behind it. And if you are experiencing consciousness, and I presume you are having the experience of being aware, you must be experiencing its reality. What is that?
It has a reality. It has a reality.
All illusions have a reality, and if you suggest that the experience of being aware is an illusion, and you acknowledge at the same time that you are having the experience of being aware, then you must be experiencing its reality. Now, what is the reality of the experience of being aware?
Being aware.
That's the answer to your question. The reality of being aware is being aware. In other words, it is not an illusion.